Hey yo, what up? What up? It's Lamek with Selah Sports TV back at it again. Chill. Well, this will be a quick post-fight review of the David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk fight last night. Um, I did touch on the fight. Pause. I did mention this fight in a quick comment last night in the Tank Davis versus Frank Martin reaction video, but this fight was a co-main event, right? And I think there was a lot of things happening in that fight, and I think it deserves a breakdown. So here we are. Um, as for the fight, this was David Benavidez's first fight as a light heavyweight. Um, this is his first fight at 175. He's never fought that high. He's never fought against a guy that I can think of. He's never fought up against a guy um, bigger than him, right? And Gvozdyk, I mean, he looked like I would say the much bigger guy, right? Um, Gvozdyk has been a career light heavyweight. He's never moved up. Some guys can just do that. They can just stay right there um, at that weight. Uh, I tend to think staying at a weight, unless you're a heavyweight, I tend to believe, or maybe cruiserweight, I believe that staying at one weight eventually will bring added wear and tear on a fighter, right? It's already enough wear and tear they're gonna go through. Every time you get in that ring, you're gonna go through some major league wear and tear, right? You got you getting punched in the head, punched in the body. You're punching guys in the head and in the body. Lots of wear and tear on your hands. Lots of wear and tear on your arms, your joints, right? And of course, getting punched in the head has its own wear and tear, right? Concussed, you're getting concussed, round after round, So, boxing is a very, very dangerous sport, right? All right, Captain Obvious. So let's talk about the fight. Um, I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was fought at a high level. This wasn't just rock'em sock'em robots coming out there. I did predict a David Benavidez stoppage, but as I watched the fight, I pretty much felt like he wasn't going to be able to stop this guy, right? Gvozdyk is a very tough customer. He's definitely no pushover. He's not there, he's not really there to be hit as much. Especially early on in the fight, we saw Gvozdyk was moving quite a bit, quite a bit. But David Benavidez, I mean, textbook. That's what I like about Benavidez. He's gonna make you. You're gonna have to go through the full motion of skills. What am I talking about? Well, like I said, Gvozdyk came out moving quite a bit, right? He's a big guy. He's out there moving and jabbing, moving and jabbing. And David Benavidez was switched on all the way defensively, right? He was catching everything on the gloves, but he kept closing the distance. And as he closed that distance on Gvozdyk, he was punishing him to the body constantly, constantly. And that's what I'm saying. You can't outthink yourself. Like, if a guy's going to be moving like that, it's your job to slow him down with body shots, right? Because these things are tried and true. Um, these things are tried and true measures to slow a guy down, right? You don't keep head hunting if a guy's moving like that. You start targeting the body. It's a bigger target, and once you start connecting there, you're gonna slow down your opponent. Like everybody, we all know that. We all know that by now. But some fighters get it. They put the cart before the horse, so to speak, right? And you can't do that. You gotta make your opponent prove that they can stop it. It's like in a football game, right? in a football game, if you're running the ball well, and every time you're running the ball, you're picking up, you know, 6, 7, 8 yards every time, right? Every time you hand that ball off, you're picking up big time yards. It doesn't matter if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback back there. It doesn't matter if you got, you know, some legend playing quarterback. You make your opponent figure out that first before you start going into your bag, you know, trying to show everything all your tricks and gadgets. Make them figure out the run game first, right? And I think that's very important, not just, of course, not just in boxing, but in sports, in life, right? There's another double entendre for you. Like, you gotta make your opponent figure out what you're doing. If what you're doing is working, they got to deal with that. And if they never figure it out, then it should just be a dose of heavy run game. You know, if they never figure it out, it should just be a dose of heavy body shots, right? Why? Because they haven't figured that out. Now, we already have a plan for when they figure that out. We have other stuff, but why go into it? They haven't figured out plan A yet, right? You gotta make your opponent figure out plan A. And I thought David Benavidez, the Benavidez corner, I thought they did a great job of that. Excellent job of that. Jose Benavidez Sr. He's a good trainer, right? He's an excellent trainer. I don't know um, how he's developed that skill, but he's done it. He's gone to school, so to speak, right? He's learned and he knows how to train. At least I'll say at least he knows how to train his boys, right? He knows how to train his guys. And David Benavidez, he just has natural talent. But more than natural talent, David Benavidez he's a fighter, bro. He's David Benavidez is he's a throwback fighter. Like that, I think that term gets thrown around quite a bit, but he's naturally a throwback fighter. Like he wants it all, right? He'll fight anybody. The guy will fight anybody, and once he gets into the fight, he's gonna fight them, right? He doesn't do any running or angling and none of that. None of that. Now, I will admit, I'm not a huge fan of his promoter, Samson Lokowitz. I'm not a huge fan of that guy. He comes across as kind of a weasel, right? But um, it appears as though he's not as in a way as he was before, right? He did. Just being honest, Samson Lokowitz held up that Caleb Plant fight. You know, he was the one that wanted to marinate that fight, and he went on record saying it. Personally, I don't hold that against David Benavidez. You know, like he obviously can't move. He's not free to move and do with it whatever he wants to do. He's not free to do that. You know, a lot of you guys, you make up these titles, you make up these lofty titles, right? And you're basically doing that to what's the word I want to use? You're doing that basically to put to man, my words, man. I would say quantify, but it's not that. Anyway, you make up these fucking titles, right? To hang around a boxer like the face of boxing, right? Like that's one of them. You hand these titles over, and what you're doing is you're just giving a title to the fact that this guy can pretty much make the rules, right? This guy he can call the shots, right? These the person that you call the face of boxing is gonna be somebody who can basically call their shots. You know, they set the parameters of the fights. You know, where we're fighting, when we're fighting, the rules of engagement, and rehydration clauses. Can I cheat? You know, you see who I'm pointing at here? Look over here. Yeah, look over here. Yeah, right here where you see that pussy cat over there. So, yeah, that's what defines a face of boxing. Yeah, so the word that I was thinking about is itemize. You want to itemize uh these guys. These guys that can call their own shots. Say Canelo, for the heavyweights, Anthony Joshua, right? Down there at the lower weights, Tank Davis, and at the even lower weights than that, I would say Monster Inouye, right? Um, quiet as kept, Terrence Crawford has become one of those guys. It's just that he's so far removed from that persona. I don't even think he Terrence Crawford is just a dog. Like you can't even put that on. Like he's just not even. He doesn't even move that way. The guy is not interested in stardom or none of that shit. He's a gym rat. He's a boxer, a fighter, right? And I kind of see a lot of that in uh, Mr. David Benavidez here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and give him his props as far as that's concerned. I'm very impressed with him. He's a young guy. A lot of people want to hold it against him that he lost a couple titles at 168. He's already been a champion at 168, but uh, due to his own negligence, uh, uh, due to his own irresponsibility, he lost a couple titles. One time he lost it to the cocaina, right? And then the other time he lost it to too many tacos, right? And burgers and whatever the fuck else he was eating, just coming in overweight for a title fight. They stripped him, you know, and that's all his fault. That's all his fault. But I mean, the guy was like 20, 21, 22 years old. Okay, like that's gonna be he's still learning how to be a man at that time, right? He's still learning what it takes uh to succeed in life, and he was still figuring that out. Obviously, the guy has superior talent. Superior talent. Um, what did I see in this fight? Uh, I mentioned it earlier. I thought defensively, David Benavidez looked really good. This is the best I've seen him look defensively. He looked great in his last fight defensively as well against Caleb Plant. The only thing with that is Caleb Plant. I mean, his nickname is Sweet Hands, right? He's not gonna give you a whole lot to have to worry about. Um, if you're the bigger, stronger guy, Caleb Plant is not a one punch knockout guy. I saw what he did to Anthony Durrell, which was fantastic. Fantastic move. That hook to the body and then come upstairs with it, like change levels on him and got him out of there. Beautiful. Beautiful, right? But that's Anthony Durrell, okay? Um who let me I'm not even shitting on him. Anthony Durrell, he's a good fighter. He was always a good fighter. But it's just not the same level, right? It's not the same level. He got caught basically with his hands down, and Caleb Plant was able to get him out of there. Strangely enough, that was the same kind of move that he put on Jamal Charlo when he slapped the shit out of Jamal Charlo. That was the same, almost like the same move, except he didn't go to the body first. He just ducked down and came right up with the slap, right? So that's something Caleb Plant was working on. Also something that David Benavidez did in this fight. He came except he switched sides with it. You would see him come with the the left hook to the body, and then he would go right upstairs with the right hook. Right off of the left hook downstairs. He would go upstairs with the right hook, and kind of like a leaping right hook motion, right? And it worked a couple times early in the fight, and I thought that was a new little wrinkle for him. Um, I think he did try to go to that move a little bit more than he should have. Um, but yeah, I thought David Benavidez defensively, I thought he looked really really good. I'm tired of shit. That's why I'm sounding the way I do. I'm extremely tired, but I need to get up. So I wanted to go ahead and get this video out of the way before the day got away from me. But yeah, I mean, David Benavidez, he was switched on defensively. I think uh that was the first priority in this fight. Up here at light heavyweight, damn near anybody can hurt you. It's not the same as 168. Like damn near anybody up here can really hurt you. If you start getting hit, taking punches you don't see up here, it's gonna spell danger. You know, these guys are bigger. These guys are harder. Not only can they hurt, can more of them hurt you, it's gonna be harder to hurt them, right? A little bit tougher, a little bit more durable. Um, the jump from 168 to 175 is it's a whole 7 pounds. Same as the jump from 47 to 54. I think those types of jumps, once you start getting to the 7 pound range, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight, right? Somewhere around round 8, 9, David Benavidez, I believe he took his foot off the gas. Um, I believe he did take his foot off the gas. He looked a little gassed out, a little tired in there. He was fighting with his mouth open. But at that point, I think he had so many rounds in the bank. Like he hadn't lost a round up, like out of the first 8 rounds, Benavidez didn't lose a round, right? So he knew the equity that he had in that fight at that time, and I think he did take his foot off the gas. I gave him round 9, but I saw that was a round that where the momentum kind of shifted a little bit. You saw Gvozdyk start getting off a little bit more. Pause. And but I think Benavidez did a little bit. He did enough to win that round, but Gvozdyk definitely took the 10th and 11th round. Right, there's no question about that. Gvozdyk, he took those rounds basically with his jab. He was he started scoring with his jab more. I saw Gvozdyk land maybe 2 right hands in the whole fight. Uh, I watched the fight again, but I saw him land maybe 2, maybe 3 right hands in the whole fight. Um, he just wasn't, and that's like his bread and butter punch. So he wasn't able to get that one in there. Not to his usual degree of success. Um, Benavidez, on the other hand, he was landing power shots left and right. He was landing power shots left and right. Showed a few wrinkles. I think Benavidez did catch his second win and go out and close out strong in the 12th round. And it's like I said in the prediction video, when you're fighting an older guy like that, sometimes you just gotta use your activity and speed, right? And just try to hit him wherever you can, make him you just hit him everywhere, right? You especially if you have the athletic ability of a David Benavidez, extremely fast hands. I thought he moved well. He did a good job of cutting off the ring. Um, it was just very good performance. Very good performance. Now I told you what you're gonna hear from the Canelo cocksuckers. They're gonna be the ones saying, Gvozdyk looked old. Gvozdyk looked old. The same one they picked him to win. So I guess when they picked him to win, they didn't know how old he was. But after the fight, they remembered. It was an epiphany, and they just remembered how old he was. So, that's just stuff we got to deal with around the sport. You got a lot of I don't know, punks out here. It just shows how people think. That's all. And it's it's not nothing new. What's new is that you have a lot of men who can't recognize that. Like it used to be a time, like real recognize real used to be an actual saying. Like we really have gotten so far away from that. Like real recognize real. It don't even mean you're gonna call it out every time. You don't have to. It's so many things I see that I just don't even say nothing about. Right? But it's my job to recognize it. It's my job to recognize it. And, I show my son, I show my daughter these things. But as far as like broadcasting everything, like I don't necessarily do that, but at least recognize it. At least recognize it. So yeah, we know what that is, and it's all part of the sport. So anyway, that's all I got. And if you like the video, bang off on that like button one time. Peace.